Okay, yeah, I'm recording. So today I wanted to do another kind of story video, because, I don't know, they're fun to make, about really stupid stories that happen in school, because they're pretty entertaining and stupid, and yeah, I just wanted to talk about it, because I thought it would be interesting. So yeah, by the way, it would be pretty cool if you liked and subscribed, just saying. So, I actually made a video with my friend about this before, but I kind of procrastinated a lot on editing it, so I didn't edit it for a while, and then when I came around to editing it, I kind of lost the footage. But he made a video on it, so if you want to watch that, it's in the description. Okay, so let's just get into it. So, I have a bunch of stories. I'm just gonna start. When I joined my school, I got a lot of attention to the stupidest stuff. Like, 90% of them weren't even my fault. I just got them because I feel like many teachers didn't like me. So, especially my French teacher, because in French, you see, I was just really good at it, but I didn't really try much. I was just good at it. And my French teacher, he just really didn't like that. So he liked being unfair to me, but in the subtlest way possible, like where it wasn't obvious. But there was this one time where it was just so obvious and stupid that, yeah. So basically, the person sitting next to me, he forgot to do his homework, and you know that happens. And the teacher was like, "Oh yeah, you forgot to do your homework. Okay, that's gonna be a detention for you." And I guess that's normal. You give detention for people who don't do their homework. I don't know. You do you. But you see, what happened next was, like, after he told him that, he turned to me and said, "Okay, you get detention also." And I'm not even joking. That's literally what happened. And I was so confused and so, like, I didn't even know. And it was just because I was shy and a good student. I didn't talk back, and I was just like, okay, fine, whatever. And I went to this. So we got an email saying that we had to go to detention next day at lunch at this like specific room. You know what? I showed up and at the room, outside the room, waiting, and I waited for the entirety of lunch. I think I was just like sitting there. I was standing outside reading a book or something, and the other boy didn't show up, and none of the teachers even showed up. It was just me sitting there waiting, and it was so dumb. But I got an email saying that, "Oh, you didn't show up. We're gonna have to reschedule this detention for the next day." And it was so stupid. And funny enough, I came the next day, and the boy actually came the next day, but he didn't stay for long. He just stayed for like 5 minutes after showing up, and then he like left. And I stayed again for most of break, and then I just left because I just couldn't be asked to stay because they clearly weren't showing up. It actually happened like 2 more times, I think, and then I got an email from. He was like the head of our year, and he was saying that there was a mistake or something, and we're just gonna put the detention off. But it was kind of dumb because I wasted like a few lunch times just waiting there for detention. But you know what? Fine. I just ignored it and just went on my day. That was pretty stupid, but you know what's even dumb? This next story. So basically, one day when I was walking to school from my bus stop, this kid we were kind of friends. He came up behind me and like jumped on my shoulders with his hands. I don't know how to explain, and like said "boo," like to try and scare me. And I was like, "Whoa, hi." And he said, "I scared you," and I was like, "Yeah." So I don't know, that was normal. At lunchtime during that day, I was talking to this other guy about what happened, and he was like, "Yo, you should scare him back. That would be pretty cool." And I was thinking, yeah, that would be pretty cool. I'll do it. So I hid behind the door waiting for him to come in of our classroom, and when he came in, I was like, "Boo!" And I did the exact same thing to him because I thought it'd be funny. And he just like stared at me. I think he screamed a bit, and he just stared at me. And I was like, "I got you. I scared you." And then I don't even know why he started crying. Like just in front of me, he just started crying. And then he ran, and I was like, "Whoa, are you okay? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry." I think. And then he just ran out of the room, and you know, because I have pretty amazing luck, it happened to be the the head of the year, the teacher from before, who kept on rescheduling my detentions, and he happened to be there in the corridor, and he saw the boy like crying, and he was like, oh, are you okay? And like he followed after him, and a few minutes later, this teacher came back into the room, and he was like, Zaki, lunchtime detention tomorrow. And it was so stupid. I didn't even expect to get detention from that, because it wasn't my fault one bit. And I honestly just burst out crying because I was actually upset. So I went to this detention. It was so stupid. I had to write an essay about what we have to do to ensure we don't have negative impacts on others. It was so dumb, but I went to it and I did it, and I kind of just like ignored this boy after, because I was so upset how he didn't say anything, and he basically just gave me detention, and I was so upset. I kind of just ghosted him for a while, and what's even dumb, he's literally said sorry to me for getting me a detention after. Like, why didn't you tell the teacher that? Why are you telling me? Whatever. It was so dumb. So yeah. And this last story, I don't know, it's just kind of funny. Basically, it was much more recent than the other stories. I was at school and we had like a ceremony. It was like Remembrance Day or something, and it took that whole afternoon of one day. So we went to the ceremony like waiting, and everyone was like talking because the other people were taking forever to come to the ceremony. And I was with my friend and we were just chatting, you know, because that's what you do when you're bored. And the other people started to come. I was telling him to stop talking because I didn't want to get in trouble. And he was like, okay. And a few minutes later, he asked me a question. I was like, shush. And I elbowed him to be quiet. And then he was like, whoa, why'd you elbow me? And he elbowed me back, and I was like, what the heck, you elbowed me back? How rude. And I elbowed him again, and we like elbowed each other like a few more times until suddenly someone decides to tug on my collar and pull me back. And I was so confused, and I literally nearly like shouted, and then I turned around and realized it was a teacher. Only this teacher was like about 7 feet tall. He was so tall, and his voice, it was honestly as deep as Corpse's voice. He was so scary, and he didn't even say anything. He just pulled me back, and I was so confused. And after a few minutes, he told us that we had to wait behind and meet him after the ceremony ends. It was so dumb, but you know, whatever. We decided to wait after the ceremony, and I'm not even joking. Like, we were the last people there. No one else was there. It was just us waiting. He just left. So whatever, that's fine. We just got on with our day. And after school, I got an email from him saying that I didn't show up and I had to go to a detention now. I couldn't be asked to complain at this point. So we went to his room, and funnily enough, he wasn't even there. So we went the next day because he told us to go again, and he said he was busy, and that was kind of dumb. Why would you invite us to go because you're busy? Eventually, we came to his room, and he was there for once, and he was like, hey, and the first thing he told us to do was a math problem. And he was like, oh, let's see if we can do this hard math problem. And I don't mean to brag, but I'm pretty good at maths. And I managed to do it in like a minute or something. And it was funny because the look on his face was telling me, shoot, that math problem was supposed to be hard. They weren't supposed to do that. But whatever. He was like, okay, and sat us down. And we were just sitting there in silence for like 5 minutes. And suddenly, he started a monologue saying, and I quote, I was enjoying the peace and quiet of the ceremony, and suddenly, in the middle of the ceremony, you two started rudely conversing, and it was so disrespectful to me and my ancestors and everyone there. So I was questioning a lot of things, but you know, we were good students, so we stayed quiet and we listened to the rest of his monologue, which carried on for about another 5 minutes. And I was trying my best not to laugh because every single bit of that was a lie. First of all, we weren't even talking; we were just elbowing each other, and there were plenty other people talking. Second of all, it wasn't even the middle of the ceremony. It was right at the start. And not even gonna lie, you're kind of being rude by not showing up after telling us to wait after and tugging on my collar. That was really rude, and it kind of hurt actually. Whatever, it was so dumb. And then like we were allowed to go. I kind of hid from him to this day because he's kind of scary and I don't like him. But whatever. That's kind of the stupid moments, stories that happen at school. Oh, I also tried to do a voiceover for the first time. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm kind of bad at telling stories, but I tried, so yeah. See ya.